Up where we left off, with trade talks staggering and uncertainty abound around the NAFTA deal mounting, businesses are the ones that are actually bearing the brunt of all of this. One company in Saskatchewan is thinking about changing its business strategy amid all of this. Kevin Graham is the materials leader at an agricultural products manufacturing company called Bourgault Industries. Great to see you, Kevin. Thanks for coming on the show. What is it that you guys make, and how much of that do you sell to the United States?
Well, we manufacture air seating equipment. We actually sell worldwide, so our customers are not just in the U.S., but we also sell quite a bit in Australia and Eastern Europe.
So,
but the biggest factor that affects us, I guess, would be our manufacturing plant in Minot, North Dakota.
Right. So you have a plant in North Dakota. You are putting product across the border every day. How has all this uncertainty played out for you and for your business?
Well, to be quite honest, it's been a total disaster, and it really started back in 2017 in March. Donald Trump signed an executive order seeking to go after additional duties on goods crossing the border. And obviously they caught a couple of our products, and it's caused a lot of hassle getting product across the border. And obviously duties that are involved in that. So if the goods can't cross the border on a daily basis, we're having a lot of trouble. I know us, along with other Saskatchewan manufacturers, have operations in the northern United States. And if those trucks can't cross the border, that's going to cause a lot of supply chain issues.
And, I mean, walk me through what supply chain issues means. I mean, can you keep people in North Dakota employed if you can't get product to and from them?
Well, that's a very good question. So when you look at steel in North America, we already have the highest steel prices in North America. And most of your listeners may not know this, but steel in North America is anywhere between 40 and 45% higher than world prices. That's Germany, Italy, or China. So when you look at that, we're already at a record high. So we had a truck ready to go down to North Dakota this week, and we're going to add another 25% on top of that. So that's making the challenge that much more difficult. Now, what's ironic about it is, yes, it's going to affect our operations in the U.S. and definitely make us question, where we should be investing going forward. But obviously, we have a huge investment there. We have about 70 employees, and that leads to lots of issues and problems we have to solve in the short term. And the uncertainty is not helping that.
And I suppose on the upside, you already have trade relationships with a bunch of countries outside of the United States. Does that give you enough cushion, or is the U.S. such a big customer, as it is for so many Canadian businesses, that it has this outsized influence on the way we make decisions and the way we try to run our businesses?
Well, it will no doubt have an impact on manufacturing, and not just in agriculture. So, like, when you look at the Trump tariffs adding 25% to steel, what that does is the consumers are going to pay. So ultimately, those costs get flow through. And I think if you look at the average automobile, the estimate was $200 per automobile. And I think there's somewhere around 17 million autos sold in the U.S. So that's $34 billion that the U.S. consumers are going to pay. So obviously, the manufacturers are going to look at that and say, well, why don't we just manufacture outside of the United States? And if we do that, then obviously our costs will be less. So ironically, what Trump's trying to do and protect steel jobs, is actually going to alienate the manufacturing jobs. And I even read some studies that the last time Bush implemented the steel tariffs, all of the gains they saw in the steel industry were all lost in the manufacturing industry.
Right, and a bunch of people in the steel industry ended up losing their jobs as well. We just heard from Ken Curtis, who's an international trade expert. He knows this stuff inside and out. He says a lot of this is just tactics, and it'll get sorted out. From the perspective of somebody who's on the ground doing business today, and you're going to have to make decisions about how you run your business based on what's in front of you, will there be a lasting impact of this trade dispute on the way that you do business going forward, whether we get this sorted out or not?
Well, we believe it'll be short term. We think Trump's ultimate motives here is the supply chain management within the Canadian agricultural industry, and he obviously wants the quota system dismantled. And so, yeah, we think it's short term, but ultimately, who knows? And so if goods can't flow across the border as they have in the past, that just makes so many challenges and makes us question, where do we want to do. do business and do that. Now, I just want to be clear, like, we're not pulling out of the United States right now, but, it makes you question what future work we should do down there. We do a lot of laser cutting, so the steel crossing the border, that creates a lot of headaches. And you say, well, why don't you just buy it on the United States side? Well, I'll tell you what's going on down there right now with the steel. We send an order to the U.S. mill, and they phone us back and they say, yeah, we'll supply you steel. We can't tell you when, and we also won't tell you the price. So that makes very difficult doing business.
Indeed. Kevin, we're going to have to leave it there, but I really do appreciate your insight on all of this. Kevin Graham is the materials leader at Bourgault Industries.